Many thanks. It was an interesting panel as I enjoyed the discussion very much. Let's not lose the pace and carry on with the second session, which is called Kryptos' Status Check. The session will be moderated by Knode from Koindex and Niyazi Yılmaz from Bitay and Elbruz Yılmaz from Bitpanda.
All right, well, welcome. Hello, everyone today. So with the fast emergence of crypto assets in the last decade, which has led to pop-up of many exchanges across the world, we've seen much consolidation and trading volume with centralized, decentralized, and OTC transactions in the cryptocurrency space. And as it seems as markets consolidate around these several crypto assets, innovation is not stifling new projects and newcomers to come into the space. And so with our panel today, we'd like to put a light on where we are today and where we are headed to. Joining us today, and thank you for joining us, we have Niyazi Yılmaz, CEO of Bitay, as well as Elbruz Yılmaz, Managing Director of Turkey and the MENA from Bitpanda. And I myself am Anthony Knode, CEO of Koindex. And so in today's session, we'd like to go question by question and ask each of our panelists what their thoughts are, and we'll go on from there. So thank you guys for joining. I'd like to start with the first question. The first question today is, with all that is going on in the world today, do you see a bright future for the cryptocurrency market? And let's start with you, Niyazi.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I believe that the future of cryptocurrency is very bright, and they will be in our life in one way or another. Debate has been going on about cryptocurrency almost creating wealth or a payment method. Regardless, acceptance rate has been increasing globally. More and more institutional investors are getting into buying cryptocurrencies, and I am sure that will increase more.
Thank you, Niyazi. And what do you think, Elbruz?
Yeah, I need to echo what Niyazi just said. I think we are at the beginning of this industry still. There's so much room for growth. Right now, there are about 5,000 cryptocurrencies in circulation. As you know, we are getting new ones added almost weekly. And the industry has grown from its infinite levels in 2009 to now, crossing about $200 billion annually and growing quite rapidly. And I also think that when some of the applications become mainstream, focusing on, for example, privacy, providing financial services to the unbanked population, which is about 2 billion people still on the planet, I think there will be so much more growth in this industry still. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. All right, on to the next question. With the many exchanges that are in the space, what are the necessary characteristics for an exchange for success? And let's start with you, Elbruz, back to back.
Sure. I think if I remember, there are about 4,000 exchanges active globally, and each of them have different attributes and qualities and characteristics. But I think there are 5 key characteristics that actually make an exchange stand out. One of them is actually transparency. As you might have seen in recent news, there are challenges with certain exchanges globally. And I think transparency will become a key differentiator. And the second one is obviously when you look at the exchanges volume and liquidity. From a customer perspective, you need to ensure a certain level of liquidity and volume so the transactions can take place. And when you look at commoditization of the services provided by exchanges, I think the ones that are actually executing a better customer-centric focus will make a clear distinction between the others. So I would have to focus on customer service, transparency, and also volume and liquidity as 3 main characteristics I think that makes a successful exchange.
Thank you, Elbruz. And what do you think, Niyazi?
First of all, the exchange needs to be reliable and provide a fair trading environment for kind of traders. Bitcoin and all other altcoins are highly volatile in trading. So the trading system is stable enough, sudden surge of increasing trading activity. Secondly, exchanges constantly innovate lending, margin, DeFi, more.
May I, Anton, add a few
Yes.
things on this? Because
Sure.
I think
Yes.
I wanted to underline the importance of coin selection or asset selection for the exchange. I think in recent months we have seen an increase in DeFi as a class, a new innovation, and I think exchanges have the responsibility to make sure that they are listing really, let's say, healthy and also due diligence coins or assets to be able to offer them to their investors, to their clients. So I think having a strict process in selecting coins is a key differentiator for exchanges these days, because there's a lot of hype, and you just don't want to list things just to get a lot of traffic to your website, right? So at Bitpanda, for example, we are very careful about it. We recently listed 6 DeFi coins. It took us some time to get comfortable with their qualities, but I think you would also agree that you cannot really just pick up every coin that is listed every week and just list them because they are the next hot thing, right?
Definitely, for sure. Thank you, guys. Which kind of leads us into our next topic, and I want to discuss these hot topics that are currently circulating the space. Is what are your thoughts on DeFi, and will another uptrend cycle be coming in the near future? Let's start with you, Niyazi.
Again, DeFi shall be in our lives one way or another. For sure, the current madness of increasing token prices in this space, there have been hypes every so often, and in my opinion, DeFi is one of them. On the other hand, alternative financing is needed in this world to challenge traditional banking. DeFi has tools and technology for that, such as flash loans, lending, borrowing, margin trading, and similar processes. DEXs are also challenging our space, namely centralized exchanges. But DeFi is still at infant stages and requires its users to have high level of technical knowledge, much more than cryptocurrencies itself. That means it has a long way for wider investor adoption.
Thanks, Niyazi. What do you think, Elbruz?
I agree. I think with any innovation, any new innovation, you're going to have some potholes. I think DeFi, when you look at the hype and also the results, there are certain assets in that category are performing quite well, better than expected, and then some others are quite dismal. But as I said, with any innovation, you have these obstacles along the way. So you need to look at the bigger picture. And when you look at the momentum that DeFi can gain by unlocking this financial system and providing new innovation to the ecosystem, I think the best is yet to come. But you need to be always careful to understand the drivers for this growth and applications in the mainstream. So I think very early days, but it's a promising category for sure.
Thanks, Elbruz. All right. The other hot topic question I wanted to ask you guys is, what are your thoughts on NFTs or non-fungible tokens? And do they have a space in the crypto market as well as in the future? Let's go back to back. Elbruz, what do you think on that?
Okay. I mean, it's a important category again, very early stage. We have seen some examples that set the bar for certain transactions in the past. I think certain categories such as art, collectibles, and those kind of things will have definitely a momentum in the future. But again, just like DeFi, it's in early stages. And I think there are many questions that needs to be answered about NFTs, how it can be protected to a certain extent, and how it can be basically transacted. And when you compare it to today's exchanges, especially in art and other categories that are collectibles, for example, it clarifies a lot of inefficiencies. In that sense, I think there will be a huge adoption in the coming days as we have more institutionals looking into this. And I think it's a growth area for sure, but it's in early stages, in my opinion.
Thank you. Niyazi, what do you think?
I believe that this is a really niche market and they have a smaller chance of adoption than DeFi. Some people are trying to create a hype out of it, but not sure it will go a long way. That's my opinion, actually.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely a niche market in it. You could sometimes see a famous art piece or a baseball card here or there get traded for $10,000. So it's kind of that concept. But yeah, it's definitely a niche. But from here on, we'll see how that turns out. All right. Thank you, guys. For the next question, let's get more local. What are your short and long-term impressions and expectations of the Turkish market with its involvement in cryptocurrency? And let's start with you, Niyazi.
Turkish market is growing both in terms of number of new entrants to the market and in terms of more trading volume. That is why we as Bitay are investing more and more into growing our exchange. Turkey has its own special characteristics in terms of economic and geopolitical position, which makes cryptocurrencies an attractive investment vehicle. I'm sure cryptocurrency in Turkey will grow much faster than many countries in the world.
Thank you. Elbruz, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Bitpanda, Turkey has been on our radar for many years. We just made entrance actually this September, a few months ago. And I think it's a market that has a lot of drivers for growth in the category in this asset class. As you know, Bitpanda is not only trading crypto assets on its platform internationally. We have precious metals, and soon we're going to be adding stocks as well. But for now, we are active with only our crypto assets in the Turkish market, and we are seeing a very healthy market. All the growth drivers are lined up. As Niyazi just mentioned, it has its unique characteristics, making it one of the most vibrant markets in the region, in my opinion, potentially in the world. Turkey has proven its resilience with economic crisis. So always there's some type of tangible growth in the market. It has a young population, highly online, highly educated and engaged. And I think the best is yet to come in the market. And we are seeing more and more international and local entrants investing more resources towards development of the market. And I think when you look at from a fintech point of view, Turkey always had the practicality and problem-solving skills developed quite well. So that actually is serving the industry, in my opinion. When you look at the banking system, which is one of the most advanced ones, most stable ones, and we look at the payment service providers or the ecosystem in general, is quite well aligned. So I think it's all looking up in Turkey in terms of growth.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. And this is what all users, or especially anyone in the crypto space, probably wants their end goal to be. But what is necessary for cryptocurrencies to be more widely accepted globally for the future? And let's start with you, Elbruz. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the adoption rate, when you look at individually or retail level, is still very low. So I think you need to get more users to engage. And I think the way to do it is to have the buy-in from stakeholders, such as regulators, institutions, who can actually unleash this asset class and make it mainstream. So we always talk about day-to-day activities and practical solutions, such as, yeah, I paid for my event with Bitcoin, or I bought my flight tickets with Bitcoin, etc. And now we are seeing credit cards that are tagged to Bitcoin and stuff. In my opinion, these are just a drop in a bucket. We just need to see a mainstream adoption of higher, larger problems to be solved with crypto assets or blockchain technology. It is moving in the right direction, in my opinion, but I think if you have a regulatory framework that enables and clarifies all the question marks in people's minds and diminishes the stigma in certain markets against the cryptocurrency assets, then it'll be faster. So we are seeing certain verticals such as gaming gaining a lot of momentum, but for other industries to actually replicate that, it is going to require some regulatory framework that is even clarified and answers all the question marks. In my opinion, that's the main block ahead.
Thank you. Niyazi?
I believe that user education is crucial for this market. I mean, it means more marketing, more education material, reaching out to several sections of society, and telling them the story of Bitcoins and others. So we need to educate our newcomers and existing traders. This will let us grow the market share trading environment.
Definitely. I agree with both of you guys. Definitely. Okay. And let's, for our final question, let's have a fun one. What is your guys' year-end Bitcoin price prediction for the year-end, 2020, December 31st? Either of you can go.
I'll wait for Niyazi to go first.
Okay.
I hope that it will be around 15,000. I mean,
15,000. Okay. Elbruz?
Now we have more and more institutional money is in the pocket, and I believe that they will use every piece of their power to price in a logical range. It could be going up.
Thank you. Elbruz?
I think it will be higher than what today the rate is. I think, I don't want to be very speculative, but there are many analysis on this. As you have seen, Bitcoin, if it's stable for a few months, you usually see a big increase or a big drop. So we'll see.
Right.
And we are going through unprecedented times with COVID, right? So I think it also has an impact. But my expectation is just like Niyazi, it's going to go up.
And if you allow me to step in and answer, I'll take the middle road and say between now it's about 13,500. Any opinions you think going forward? What are you guys' opinions on the scrutiny surrounding BitMEX and what happened with OKX last week? Do you guys have any thoughts or opinions on that?
Well, I've been following it from a distance, obviously through the media, and I think it is clear indication that regulators are trying to make sure the industry is kind of abiding by certain rules when it comes to AML and KYC and those kinds of things. It obviously puts the industry in the negative section of news, in a sense, right? Whenever you see, but I also would like to remind ourselves that just a few weeks ago there was a investigation with regards to some banks, which had actually maybe 10 times or 20 times more volume that were questioned by the authorities. So I think it's good that we have increasing scrutiny that will help grow the market, make it more comfortable and trustworthy for investors, both retail and institutional. But I think also that, you know, it doesn't help the industry get rid of the stigma that's with it. Because as Niyazi just mentioned, when we're educating users, and if the first thing they see in the news is something like this, maybe it could be treated negatively, then it's quite difficult for this to become a mainstream thing. But going back, I think, as I said, you know, I don't think there should be any worry about regulation. We are a regulated exchange and a broker in Europe, and we might be the only one actually. And we pay close attention to make sure that we are abiding by the rules set by the authorities. And we think this is a competitive advantage because sooner or later, as the mainstream adoption increases, this will have to be kind of the main focus point for most of the exchanges and traders, that they have to follow these rule sets. But going back to what happened to OKX and BitMEX, I think it just shows that going back to your question, Anton, paying attention to fundamentals and having common sense about your processes. Sometimes it's very easy to build volume in this industry, but you need to really pay attention to basics and make sure that it's a transparent, secure environment. And you need to pay attention to AML and KYC policies. Definitely, agreed. Niyazi, any comments?
I agree every single word you mentioned. I believe that facing the problems with the state of the market. If the governments regulate this market, we will see that these kind of just problems will not be occurring in the future. At this, it shouldn't be that much easy to just manipulate the market and that kind of problems for the traders and the people who trust and just invest their money into the exchanges. So I believe that the regulation will solve most of these kind of problems.
Definitely. Thank you, guys. How about another question? Let's talk about high leverage trading, such as what BitMEX was doing. I think Binance has it, Bybit, Femex and a couple other exchanges have it, but is high leverage trading, is it a good thing for the industry, or do you think it's a bad thing for the industry, or does it have its pros and cons? Let's start with you, Niyazi. What do you think on that?
It increases the trading volume for sure, but and it is attractive for people who just want to make some money faster, faster than the spot market. That means that it increases risk as well. I mean, you can lose your money very easily, very fast, and then probably you will lose those investors, and they just lose their confidence for the cryptocurrency market. It is nice segment, and maybe we should provide this feature for the traders, but traders should be very careful, and we should educate them before accepting this kind of actually providing this kind of trading environment for the newcomers.
Definitely. Elbruz?
Yeah, I agree with Niyazi. I think we don't have leverage trading on our platform. This is basically a choice that we have. We are offering different asset classes on our platform in the spot market. Then on the exchange, we have, let's say, less exotic options to invest. But going along with what Niyazi just said, I think as exchanges or traders, we have responsible to educate and inform the users about the potential risks. And unfortunately, I think what we have seen in some other cases with the other exchanges is that they don't really pay attention to this component. So the user protection of the user or the investor is actually a secondary for them, and that just sets a bad precedence for the market. So I think certain investors will have the appetite for this high risk instruments, and it is viable to have these on our platforms as exchanges or brokers that we can offer this, but we need to really pay extra attention to making sure that the user is informed and educated and they understand the consequences of these actions before they actually start investing. So I think it's our responsibility to educate them, inform them, and put all the disclaimers in place and make sure that we are in sync with the regulators. Because in certain markets, these type of transactions are not allowed without certain licenses, just like in the stock market. So you just need to make sure that your checks and balances are in place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Thank you, guys. Let's go on to the next question. So besides your own exchange project, which I'm sure that's your number one focus and that's your biggest, or most of your energy is going towards, but within the cryptocurrency space, what coin or what token or what project outside of your own interests you the most right now? Let's start with you, Elbruz.
Well, we have some in the hopper internally as well. For example, our own Pantos project is quite interesting in my opinion. I don't want to go into details here technically, but so when I look at the recent DeFi hype, I had basically my eyes on a few assets there, and I think that will be a category that I will be paying close attention to going forward, just because of the sheer returns that I have seen in certain DeFi tokens there, and then also the upside potential that still exists because most people still don't understand DeFi, and investors are still not fully on board with that. So I think I would say in general, DeFi category is something that I'm paying close attention to personally.
Thank you. Niyazi?
I think that smart payment systems, like payment systems with smart contracts, will have a really good way, and they will be in our lives in the near future. And this technology will be able to solve many of our daily life. I believe that the next generation of payments is
Great, thank you. Okay. And last but not least, let's discuss what industry do you think will be the next buzz or the hot topic that will come up in the crypto space? Last year, it was, you could say it was the start of the DeFis, and now the DeFis are coming into fruition. You have NFTs right now. But what space? What do you say? It's insurance, healthcare, aerotech, space, real estate. What industry do you think will kind of dive nose first into the crypto space and kind of create this buzz? What do you think, Niyazi?
Could be healthcare is
Healthcare.
very important, and Kryptos offer nice technology for storing information, keeping them in secure, and I mean, the healthcare industry will be the next hot topic. So, yeah.
Thank you. Elbruz, what do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about the same actually. I mean, when you look at the focus point right now for us globally is health, and coming after, hopefully with the end of this pandemic situation, when you look at tracking and also privacy, those are the two components that are the main concern for healthcare administrators, right? They would like to be able to track you, but they also want to pay attention to privacy. So I think not just having a mobile app where you can check in and check out will be sufficient in the future. So I also think that, you know, in the coming 5-10 years, as the world has, you know, went through this challenging ordeal with the pandemic, there will be some new innovation coming out of this. In addition, in my opinion, when you look at drug development, vaccine development, and also other things, these are multinational collaborative efforts. And when you look at use of blockchain in development of these technologies and cooperation, I think there will be also a quite interesting applications in that category. So healthcare and wellness, I would say, will be the main focus going forward.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Any final remarks that you guys have, or final statements before we conclude our session today?
No, thanks for the session and the fun Q&A session. I think, as discussed, Turkey is a very important market for us. It is on the growth phase. The industry is also in a growth phase, so best things are yet to come, and I'm looking forward to the next year together with you guys.
Thanks, Elbruz. Niyazi?
Thank you for your time, and I believe that Turkey will be one of the major players in the cryptocurrency market in the near future, and we prepare ourselves for this.
Thank you. And I myself, Anthony, I believe Turkey is a very vital market for this whole cryptocurrency space. That's why we're all here in Turkey today. But in terms of leader of users with what the conscience of purchasing cryptos, understanding what they are, and being able to use them and kind of test them out and use them, Turkey is a forerunner in that regard, especially in the tech. They're very forward thinking. They know what's going to happen. They understand what's happening at home and with the Turkish lira and all the things revolving around that. And so they have a need for it as well. And so there's a strong market there. And especially with the COVID going on, we have the US presidential elections coming up and many uncertainties in this world. But despite all that, I think the cryptocurrencies are the place to be. It's got a bright future, as you both alluded to, and I can only look forward to it this year, next year, and the next 10 years as well. So thank you for you guys for your time, and hopefully we can have another discussion like this again.
Likewise, Anthony. Thanks.
Thank you.